Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, today, right now it's the 23rd of May, and it's like the top of the year for catching really good fish at Okeechobee, for example, at headwaters. People think that they have to go, in the cold wintertime to catch these big fish, and that's not the case. The month of May is phenomenal. And I'm just going to show you a few of the lures today that's working on both Okeechobee and on Headwaters Lake. Now, the first thing to start with is a good topwater bite. Early in the morning, we start off with big plugs like this and this frog. And let me just tell you the frog bite. The frog bite on both Okeechobee and Headwaters is out of sight. It's the best month in the world for a frog. This is my #1 lure, really. I'll have to show you this frog deal. This is the Spro 60 popping frog. And if you can, I'll just put it right out here and I'll just show you what it looks like. Now, I've also modified this frog, and I keep telling you about this. I've actually bent the hooks out just a little teeny bit, so there's a little bit of a gap between the body of the frog and the hook point. That just makes up for almost 100% hookup ratio. Now, the secret of Okeechobee, you notice how low everything is? We're in a drought right now. This is a big, severe drought, but that's all right. This is really a drought. And on Okeechobee, the reeds that are in the lake, they're only 1.5 to 2 feet deep, the outside edge of them. And so the water's clear. So the bass are still in the reeds, and they're still in the outside edges of the reed beds, but they can see about from here to the other side of the canal. So you have to be really quiet. You have to sneak around real slow and easy with the trolling motor. You can't bump the boat. You can't make any noise, and you got to just make long casts. And so I'll start off by throwing, say, all the way over to the other side of the canal. Watch this. I'll just all the way over there. Okay, I'm way over on the other side. And when I do it, I kind of work it kind of fast. But this is, I'm not probably going to not catch one here. This is not a good canal for catching a lot of bass in like Okeechobee. Okeechobee right now, you're not going to catch a lot of fish either on the frog. But the ones that hit it on that outside edge, particularly after you've gone into the weeds 5 or 6 feet and come out 5 or 6 feet into that open water, they've kind of followed it out. Those fish are huge bass. And sometimes that's why I have this big long handle. I'll put that UGG button on there. Anyway, it's that big soft what we call UGG button. Anyway, that I just roll into them and just hook them. And boy, they hit this frog. And so many of these fish, so many of them are 5 and 6 and 7 pounds right now. They're catching 30-pound stringers almost every single day. People are winning tournaments with 30, 35 pounds of fish, and a big portion of them are on this frog. Okay, that's one thing. Now, since some of the fish are outside, and there's a lot of bluegill beds on Okeechobee right now, and so what happens with the bluegill beds is you get around the bluegill bed, and if you're alert and watching real close, you'll see the bluegill beds with your polarized glasses like I have, but you'll also see bass, actually see them. You look in the water and actually see big bass cruising around the edges of these bluegill bed areas. And that's when I come in with this Zara Spook. That Zara Spook is really a great lure, and it's a great lure on headwaters too. And all these lures work on headwaters as well. And I'll just throw it out, past the bluegill beds, and just kind of work it. See how I'm working it? Well, I'll have to work it up close. I make a long cast, but just working it up close, I'll show you how you walk it. See how it walks? It walks just back and forth like that. Just keep it walking. That's a big plug. And you can actually almost just really walk it slow if you want. And when you come to a whole big nest of bluegill beds, work it like that. Sometimes a big bass is just laying right there waiting for an easy meal. Okay, that's really a good combination. But you always have to have backup. For both frog fishing and topwater fishing, you always have to have a worm for a backup. Now here's what I do right here. I take this. This is the new salt sink. This prototype from Fish Lucky, and I'm rigging it up on a little bit of an 1/8 of an ounce lead weight. It's a screw-in weight up front and an EWG hook. And I'll have that laying in the boat. I'll have it right here on the bow of the boat, and I'll be throwing my other stuff. And if I miss a fish, and sometimes they just boil at it. They don't even hit it. They just kind of boil the water. I'll pick this up immediately, throw past where they boiled. Throw past it, just a little teeny bit. And then just kind of just drag it along, and it's usually real quick. The faster you get in there, the quicker they hit, and you get almost all of it. If it's like within 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, and you can just, if you're that fast, you'll get a bite right away, because these fish are moving around. If you wait 10 seconds, it's too late. He's over here. So again, I'll have my rod ready. Bam, I get a boil. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. I was in there in 4 seconds. That's kind of fast. But if you're that fast, you'll catch him. He'll come right over and hit that worm just right away. And that's the game on. Now, when I do that, remember there's reeds in the lake. This is also true in the headwaters, because it's a lot of hydrilla. The water's not so low at headwaters, it's higher. That's 50-pound braid. That's 50-pound braid. On the worm rod, this is the worm rod, 50-pound braid. On the frog rod, I got 65-pound braid. And on the Zara Spook, I have, I'll throw it sometimes on 20-pound monofilament, or I'll throw it on as much as 50-pound braid. Okay, let's look at a couple other lures. Well, you know, you have another kind of combination, and that is a swim jig. Now, a swim jig is a regular jig. It has a regular kind of a trailer on it, but here's the thing about a swim jig. You can cover a lot of water with it fast, and it comes swimming over those reeds a lot. There's a joint grass there, and again, I'm way off the shoreline, and I'm going to make a long cast. I'm going to just cast as far as I can. Just cast as far as I can. Get rod in a strike position and just reel it. That's what you do with a swim jig. You just reel it along. Reel it along. You reel it maybe 10 foot, you might stop it just for a second, but then just keep reeling it. You have it in a strike position. When I load up on it, take them. Just don't wait a second. Just take them right now. Boom. A jig's a jig. A jig's not a worm, and so you have to hit them quick. So anyway, that's a good combination for a really big fish, because a swim jig, believe it or not, is probably, you'll catch bigger fish on a jig on this swim jig than you would a worm. Let's just put it that way. And maybe a pound or so bigger on the average. So if you just want to just throw a lure, you can throw a worm and catch a lot of fish. Get your limit. Okay, a worm will do that, but nothing's gonna beat this jig as far as a limit of jig fish are gonna weigh more. So that's a big combination right here. Okay, let's try another lure. Remember now, this is the first part of summer. The fish are just starting to school. They haven't really started to school a whole lot, but they will start schooling, because the water's getting real low at Okeechobee. They're going to move out into the open water. They'll school all the time. That's that new scrounger I'm talking about. I've told you about this thing. It's a great little lure for schooling fish. Get a little 3-inch minnow on the back. This is a little 1/8 ounce model. It is such a little bitty thing. It casts like a bullet, and then it reels, and you can feel. Look at the rod tip; just it vibrates like crazy. It really is a great little jig for. If you can see that, it's hard to see that thing wobble, but it's right there in the water. It's just hard to see. You can see it wobbling as the tail wobbles and the front end wobbles. Anyway, this is just a great combination. Make a nice long cast with it, and when they're schooling, boy, they'll hit this thing every time. And then, so you have to be alert. You have to be watching for seagulls, and that's a big thing, because if you see the seagulls diving, that's probably a school of fish. That's one thing. And then just be observant and just listen. I have my hearing aids in, and of course that was from shooting in the Army. I had to kind of hurt my ears, but I always wear them when I'm out in the summertime, because sometimes I hear them schooling. You can actually hear them with these hearing aids turned way up, and so that's a big combination. So schooling fish is a big deal. You can also catch them on the schooling fish. Is another combination that I'll tell you right now. Is the same company, Fish Lucky. Of course, they're now making Jimmy Houston's spinnerbait, and this is the Red Man spinnerbait that Jimmy Houston has, and that's a 3/8 of an ounce. It casts like a bullet. I can throw it all the way across the canal probably. It's just great for schooling fish. It's great for all kind of fish. But it's a year-round spinnerbait, and I like it in Okeechobee. It's my favorite spinnerbait. And again, it's the Jimmy Houston Red Man series that I really like by Fish Lucky. Okay. So we're getting somewhere. We're getting down to the last little part of the day. You know, you can't beat a chatterbait. A chatterbait is just an automatic thing. If you just had to just catch a few nice fish, all you do it all day long was just throw a chatterbait just the whole time. See, I have it on braid. I run mine on braid for the most part. I like 30-pound or even 50-pound braid. And boy, I catch so many fish on this chatterbait. It's just amazing. Again, this canal is not very good. I catch very few fish in this canal. I haven't caught a fish in it lately. It's so low. I don't know if they're in here. But see how it wobbles? It really looks good. I'll just throw it out there. It just really does really a good looking job right there. Isn't that pretty? Anyway, I'll throw it down the banks too, get close to the bank, and there's a chance you'll catch a bass. But a chatterbait is something you can just cast all day long and you're going to catch a few fish on it. In fact, it's a funny little story. I was fishing headwaters one time and my grandfather was killed by lightning. And so I have a phobia against lightning. As a little 2-year-old boy, I was told, well, grandfather was killed by lightning. Oh, watch out for the lightning. So I'd hide under the bed and hide in the closet when the storms would come. And I was out on Headwaters Lake 3 years ago. And by golly, a bolt of lightning hit like at the barn up here. And it scared me to half to death. And I'd thrown that chatterbait out there just as far as I could. And boom, and lightning hit. I said, well, let's get out of here, my heaven. I said, we got to get out of here. And I got it right like this. I'm going as fast as I can. The bass, a 12-pound, 11-ounce bass, hit it right with that much line out. I had that much line out. And I wasn't even looking. I was looking out the other way. I thought alligator got me or something. I didn't know what. It just tears off. And anyway, I caught the fish. That was my biggest bass ever on a headwaters. And it was the biggest bass I ever caught on a chatterbait as well. Okay. There's a lot of people that just want some fun and something to eat. Now let's explain what's going on right now. This is the summertime, and Okeechobee is low, and there's just thousands and thousands and thousands of bluegill beds, and they're easy to see, and the fish are easy to catch. Now here's my combination for catching them. I take a little beetle spin. This is that smallest one. Now they can use the next size bigger, but I like the little 1/16 of an ounce, 32nd of an ounce, little bitty small, what they call a beetle spin. Now, here's the key to beetle spin, and I'm going to tell you this right now. You might not believe me, and you might dispute me, but it'll pay off in the long run. 4-pound test line, you'll catch twice as many fish on 4-pound test line as you will on a 6-pound line. You'll catch twice as many fish on 6-pound line as you will on 8-pound test line. And if you use 10-pound test line, you might as well stay home. You're not going to hardly catch anything. So I don't know what it is, whether they're just sensitive. I can't explain it, but I'm just going to tell you right now, this is 4-pound line, a little spinning rod, and I just slow roll, just barely hit that little beetle spin, just barely, really low, right across the bluegill beds. You can see the bluegill beds. You'll see them chase after it. And there's another bonus there. There's 2 bonuses. One bonus is this Mayan cichlid. So it's a big old bluegill-looking thing, but it weighs about up to 2 pounds. They hit. And the other thing is that there's a few bass around. Every once in a while, you get a 4 or 5-pound bass to hit that little beetle spin. It's quite a deal. But anyway, a lot of times in the middle of the day when the sun's good and you can really see the beds good, I'll stop for about 2 hours, and you can catch 50 bluegill in an hour or so. I mean, it's that many. And out of the 10 biggest ones that you'll get out of, say, 50, you might have as much as 10 pounds of fish with 10 bluegills. You can have a pound average on occasion. So anyway, that's what's happening on Okeechobee. Oh, and Headwaters, again, it's alive and well. And there's a shiner bite going on Headwaters. It's phenomenal. I'll go through 7 to 8 dozen shiners by 1 or 2 o'clock every single day. So it's just schools of bass there, and some of those are 8 pounds as well. So anyway, there's a lot of good fishing going on in May. Even though the water's low, you can catch them. So come on down. Hey, listen, give a shout to my sponsors. I'm only 200 subscribers from 200,000. I've got 199,800 or something or other subscribers. So if you would help me get to that 200,000, and again, hit that likes button, because Bass Pro Shop and everybody else, they'll be all excited about it. We'll see you again soon. Hey, thanks for watching.